Also, again, I take advantage of this. I just want to say that this, of course, is the AGM of our association, so it's open to our delegates, to our members, but in fact, it's open to everybody, to all the observers that they are watching. And there's a way now with Zoom that Andrews will show you with the possibility to raise your hand, to make comments by the chat, first question, whatever. We will make sure that all the questions will be answered. Please keep it short, keep it also of general interest. If there's any question, not that's going to be my situation, because maybe you can start this outside the AGM. I also want to say that we are open to any other communication requests coming from the observers. I don't know how to do it, Andrews, because I think the question is only for those who are registered, but if anyone wants to send us an email, we have a computer here, so we can see an email, and me, Andrews, I hope you have the address, so we can give you the address now in a second.
No, I mean, anybody want to say we have a chat also available, so you can put on chat and yeah.
So I will try, of course, while we make the presentation, we have different reports, we have the balance sheet, we have the program for 2021, we have different issues, now we'll see the agenda. Either we make the question at the end, or if there's a specific question to be solved, please do it immediately. And as I said, we will try to reply as soon as possible. Of course, we make sure we do an answer for sure. So, okay, we see already the presentation. This presentation has been online for some time.
No, presentation is not online yet. We are posting it after the meeting, but all the materials inside has been posted on the website.
The reports, the balance sheet has been online.
Yeah.
And this is one we'll go through today. Well, Andrews, I don't know if you want to say something about.
Yeah. So yeah. Before we start, Carlo, thank you for that. So couple of things. I'm not going to do this the long introduction like we had in World Sailing Conference, which was nice. I mean, but what I would like to say is that it's the first time we're doing it virtually. So I apologize if anything doesn't go as it should go. I'm trying to do my best. As Carlos said, please keep your microphones muted when you are not speaking, just to avoid any additional and unwillingness, the noise. And if you want to speak, unmute yourself and raise hand or put on the chat. I'm following the chat, so we are happy to give you a word anytime. And this is basically it. We're also transmitting, making live streaming to YouTube for spectators, if there is any, in case anybody interested. So good luck all of us. So just formalities now. Presentation at the moment, according to my records, we have 27 members. Not everybody is still on this meeting. I will, as I said, I will check it continuously. And but we still have 27 countries, 4 continents who responded to us, and therefore requirements-based constitution. We have 14 full members from 3 continents, so it's fulfilled. So this is a valid general meeting. Regarding the executive committee, at the moment I have Ronnie next to me. I don't know if anybody can see it. Yeah, we are keeping distance, 15 centimeters, or yeah, what is it? And apologies from Martin and Eva partly, because Eva's now in the meeting. So Eva, sorry, I will move you back to the present, at least beginning of the meeting, and have a nice flight. And also information that we have 2 resigned people positions from the executive committee. Marco Leconte resigned from the executive because after that we transitioned IP from Neil Pride, so there is no reason anymore to Neil Pride representative to be on our board. And Peina Chen as a sales rep also resigned, so at the moment we don't have a sales rep, so it's like a double tasks to Ilker as a coaches rep, the Diedrich for the as a coaches rep. And we have 2 moderators. One is myself, and I asked Gonzalo Heredia from Argentina also to help me in backup in case anything goes wrong. Then I feel just better and stronger. So this is it technical from technical perspective, and if anybody has any concern, once again, please put on a chat, and I'm observing that and happy to reply. So Carlo, over to you. Carlo? Carlo, can you hear us? Okay, so if Carlo, you happy to? Sorry for the delay. Okay. Meanwhile, I think Carlo will join back, so I will take shortly, temporary, it over. So I would, behalf of the class and the president, and I would like to welcome the World Sailing people joining our meeting, and I really appreciate, especially these times. As we agreed, that the reason of this is that World Sailing, Alistair Fox, I will move on. Alistair, the World Sailing Director of Events, and we have Michael Downing, Olympic Manager, and Jaime Navarro, the technical people. They are just going to give overview from the source, which is help all of us. And if you have any questions later on to them, then you're more than welcome, if that's correct. So Alistair, welcome to our meeting, and I really appreciate that you could join. Please.
Thank you, Andrus. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you for inviting us to this, and I'm sorry that we haven't managed to come to an AGM before now, but one of the nice things, I guess, about using Zoom is it's much easier. We don't have to travel quite so much, so it's nice to join you. And I guess just as a general overview from the World Sailing point of view, it's great to see that the RSX class had a successful World Championships at the beginning of 2020 in Australia. It seems like a long time ago that events happened so easily, but it did look like you had a great Worlds in Sorrento at the beginning of this year. And can I also just say how great it is that you have your European Championships now in Villamora. Really looking forward to following the racing when it starts this week, but also it's great that we have managed to make sure that this will be the final European qualification event for Tokyo 2020. So I wish everyone good luck in the competition this week, and as I said, we'll be following closely. I think just as a general overview, and then Michael or Jaime may have some other points to add, but I'm sure all of you have seen that we have published the notice of race for Tokyo 2020, and I think it's important that you all know that the IOC, Tokyo 2020, and all the international federations are working 100% towards the delivery of the Olympic Games next year. I think it's fair to say that the biggest unknown at the moment is exactly how we will have to deal with COVID, what type of social distancing countermeasures have to be in place. We're hoping that we'll see more information from the IOC in December this year, and clearly as soon as we get a better idea of how things could look on the ground next summer, we will share that with everybody. But for sure, we are expecting the Olympic Games to look slightly different from a normal Olympic Games. I think that everything that happens on the field of play will be exactly the same and is exactly how the athletes and coaches expect it. I think it's going to be things behind the scenes on the venue, in the village, that will be different. But as I said, I'm hoping we'll be able to share more information later this year. I think as well it's important that you all know that we've been talking to the Japanese Sailing Federation over having a Enoshima International Regatta ahead of the Olympics, and it does look that we for sure now will go ahead with a regatta from the 8th to the 15th of June. Now, I know that you have your World Championships in China towards the end of May, but I'm sure that some of the Olympic athletes will also be focusing more on training in Enoshima. So important dates for all of you is the 8th to the 15th of June, where there will be a regatta in Enoshima ahead of the Olympic Games. Andres, I'll stop there, but maybe if I can just quickly pass over to Michael. He might want to add a few more quick points about the Olympics, and then perhaps over to Jaime as well if you have time, Andres.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Alistair.
Thanks, Alistair. Good afternoon, good morning, all, depending on where you are. Alistair's taken most of my thunder there in that brief. I suppose the key thing is training. Just the last couple of weeks, Enoshima Yacht Harbour and the prefecture who run the facility there have released training information. So if anybody who wants to book in and do some training can do. The point to note really is Enoshima has got some boats and the like there, but they're just asking not to store your wind surface in the venue. So obviously those teams with containers, those who are staying nearby can launch off the beach rather than having to go all the way around the island, these sorts of things. And it's basically just in response to the space constraints that the regional authorities have put in place. Other than that, really, as Alistair said, the sailing part, we don't see too many changes for the games. I see more things on the land side in terms of keeping spaces, going through the mix zone with a bit more space through the equipment inspection process. I won't touch those topics, I'll leave those for Jaime. And then transport and those sorts of elements could be a little bit different to those who've been lucky enough to be part of the Olympics before. But as Alistair said, the racing will be just as we always do. So from that part of things, we're looking forward to putting on the show that our sport can always do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Hello, Andrews, and thank you very much for inviting us also, Carlos. Well, from my side, also just to point out, the equipment regulations have also been published, and as you all know, this Olympics, so be bring your own equipment. We are working closely with the class and also with the manufacturers to make sure that we are actually well aware of what to check and how to make sure that equipment hasn't been altered. But at the end of the day, obviously, not only we have to ensure compliance with the class rules, but the class rules also make it quite clear that you cannot change what has been manufactured. So we're working also to have jigs from the manufacturer. We are planning to test this at last choice in Palma next year, but we look forward to be able to work with the class and have also things tested in your next Europeans to make sure that nothing comes as a surprise. But at the end of the day, as we said, as long as the equipment is what was provided to you and in compliance with the class rules, everything should be okay for everyone. Nothing new is in regards there from our side yet. We are in contact also with the equipment inspector there, this European with Javi Blanco, so I'm sure he's already offered himself to run a few tests for us, so I'm very grateful for that. And other than that, we'll just be in touch and available through Andrews if something is required.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel.
If my question, if anybody has any question to Alistair, Michael, or Jaime, you can unmute yourself and just go ahead.
Yeah, the date is about 8th of June, I think,
Okay.
for the Olympics.
There is one question from Greece. The question.
So,
sorry.
It's the 8th. The Enoshima regatta ahead of the Olympics will be the 8th to the 15th of June, and we are just working with JSAF on the final details. So we will write to all MPs shortly just to confirm the plans and give an outline of the schedule. But 8th to the 15th of June are the dates.
And of course, I just want to add, we have our World Championship 2021 in China is May 23rd, 29th. So it is very close.
Yeah.
Question to Alistair. Alistair, is there still a World Cup final which was cancelled for 2020 and 2021?
No. So, hi, Deirdre. No, we have already made a decision not to host a World Cup final in 2021. There was no possibility really to work with Marseille given the postponement of the Tokyo Olympic Games. So we will not be organising a World Cup final at all.
Great, thank you.
Any other question?
So, again, thank you very much for both, the three of you for taking time. If you, of course, stay with us online, we will be appreciated. If there's no other question for the moment towards stating, we can go ahead with the agenda, perhaps.
And yeah, maybe one comment, just let everyone know that Michael, you mentioned that, thank you for that the next event, qualification event for RSX, actually the last one, is the Asian Championship, when we have to qualify Asian continent. And Michael, if you can confirm that IOC approved Abu Dhabi from 14 to 20 of February to be the event. And if any update on that.
Yes, that's confirmed. So from the IOC perspective and from the World Sailing perspective, that's the official qualifier. There's a number of other classes that are also qualifying there as well, alongside RSX. So yes, that's official. The next step really is there's the notice of race, which I'm sure that the organisers are working on with each of the respective classes. So we'll see that in weeks, maybe a couple of months, I suppose.
Yeah, and just as we all know, this unpredictable world, that if at the moment decision is made, we are working on that to have event the dates that Michael said. If anything happens or there is no solution or the crisis pandemic situation gets worse, then of course we need to make another decision. But we are monitoring this, and then the decision will come on time to you. But hopefully it gets better and we get vaccine and all will get to the normal soon. Let's be optimistic. Any other question? Anybody? To Michael, Alastair, or Jaime? If not, then yeah, also thank you very much, and you are happy. I mean, you are more than welcome to stay in our meeting, but if you want, you have something else to do, then we'll thank you again. Carlo.
It's also standard for everybody, so I guess.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead with the agenda. So we'll see all the things that we need to discuss today. So welcome again to everybody. And then we have the approvals of the 2019 AGM. This is by standard. I will make a small report on the activity of this year from last year, what happened and what has been the problem. The treasurer also, Martin, has filed our balance sheet of the class, which has been published. So we're going to present our 2019 accounts, our 2020 accounts, and of course the budget for next year. The coaches representative will be, there's a report online that has been prepared by Didik, and he will make a small presentation. I think he will also speak on behalf of the athletes. Again, if anybody online wants to join or say something, we are open. Technical committee chairman and chief measures, also the two other reports that we need to analyze. The accounts, as I said, will take some time, but I hope you had the opportunity to see it. It is a very difficult year in terms of revenue, so that's very little revenue, and we had to take from the reserve. Luckily, we had a good reserve. This is something that we've been doing for over 8 years during this administration. So we can count even today on a strong reserve that is giving us the possibility to go ahead. But of course, revenue are always welcome, and not organizing regatta, not having the problem, the support from Milpride. Of course, this has been financially as a deficit, and so this was the big news of this year. Then we have two submissions. I would call them really homework. We need to adjust our bylaws. One is about the 4 years period of all the executive and a few other things. So I'm sure this will not take too much discussion. There's some discussion perhaps on the Championship 2021. So we have calendar, we have already assigned the data and the event. And we will talk about this, and then of course if there's any other business at the end. Yeah. So this is the agenda.
Yeah.
I think we need to make a check, see if we're going to vote.
Yeah.
I leave now the floor to Andrew. Andrew will explain how exactly we're going to vote.
Well, yes.
So please.
Yeah, so the plan is, let's see how it works. As I said, it's brand new for me as well, the procedure. So only the delegates can vote. So the board members and our guests, please don't vote. And I'm going to release the poll. It's a testing poll with a funny question. Whatever you answer, it's fine. Just see how it works. If it works, we are going to use that one. If not, then Carlo will explain the alternative one. So at the moment, I'm just going to... Okay, so please, people, if you could start... can you see and can you please vote?
Yes. I can see it. So
okay,
please,
yes, it's coming. It's coming. We have 29 people on it, which is exactly 11 voted, 12, 13, 14 more people.
Well done.
So 17 now. Anybody else? Okay, 18. Who didn't vote yet? Please do it now. So let's give another 5 seconds so we can close this testing. 21. Okay. And Paul, share results. Okay, so the question was that a day shall be longer than 24 hours, and 57% like it, 19% don't like it, and 24% abstain. So, Carl, I think the system works pretty well. We can use it.
Yeah.
If anybody has any concern on that, please tell now or put on the chat now if you have any problem on that. If not, then
I think we can proceed. Yes.
we can proceed. Yes. Just a second.
This just to clarify. This will be useful when we go to the submission. And also another subject that perhaps we need to get a vote. I think this system works pretty well.
Yeah. So
again, let's test now this when either we ask for the vote or this is a formal request to vote for the approval of the minutes of last year in Torbole. It was September 22nd, 2019. The minutes have been online for some time, since then actually. So yes. I believe that I can ask as a president, if there's nobody against the approval, if nobody's against the approval, I will give 30 seconds and then we can consider this approved. Okay. Or Andres, you want to try the test, whatever?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, since you put it on, I believe everybody, can I ask a vote quickly? Do you want to approve the 2019 RSX AGM and please give your vote now. Thank you.
Okay. So 21. Yeah, okay, 22. Oh, Israel was joining. Okay, so Carlo, it seems like 22 people at the moment. Looks at 22 people who are voting. 23. Okay, I will close it. So results are here. I don't know if you can see. So 91% approved. So 21.
Okay, so this is again. Thank you very much for taking time to approve, and I think we can go to the next subject, Andres.
Yes.
Which is my presentation.
Reports. Yeah, those are the people. Yes, so Carlo, please.
So again, I won't take too much time of everybody. It has been a very difficult year, as you all know, also for the class. It was difficult for us to accept the fact that we really didn't have much activity and not doing the regatta. It's a shame. This is what we are mainly focused to. But in general terms, first of all, I want to thank my executive. Here you have all the information about the class. The class is a UK entity, is duly registered in Poland, but then according to bylaws, the administrative office is where the president is. So I'm here in Rome, and this is where the headquarters for the ordinary business is here in Rome. The accountant is kept with a professional company, which is managed by Martin. Martin Aldridge has been a long-standing friend of sailing in general, but of our class. He was there before our administration, and he's been officially at Borsa now for 4 years, and he's the one who takes care. Again, he's in Port Dorset, United Kingdom. These are the accounts we have, just to be transparent. We have a Berkeley account in pound and in euro. And then we have, it's been a while now, we also have a PayPal for our operation, and you see the figure of today, and this is our financial situation. This is the way it works. I want to stress, first of all, a really special thanks to all members of the executive committee, because this is a class, and I'm honored to be still the president, that is really international. We are more international than anything else because we're also Olympic. So we have a status which implies also responsibility to be able to show, to be in a way the best, to be the top, the peak of our discipline, the windsurfing, but of course in competition with all the other sailing classes in order to maintain this status. And again, I want to thank Ilker Aroni, Ilker Bajik from Turkey is our vice president. Ronnie Meyer from Israel is also our second vice president. Eva Jodrowska from Poland. Dietrich Baker from Holland. A special thank to Andrews Foxy, our secretary general, who is the daily operative man who takes the work and is on the front line from everything. A special thank to Martin Aldridge from UK. A special thanks to Marc Lecomte, who's up to the resignation we took sometime in July, August from France. He was representing Neil Pride. There's been some changes on that, as you all know. And of course, a special thank to Tina Chen, which has been the last sailor representative from China. And they all, in a way, participated very actively to the activity of the class. You can see here, we meet every month. Since I've been appointed in 2013, we've been having meeting by Skype. The last meeting has been switched to Zoom just because it works better, it seems better. But we always had a meeting, and this also happened in 2019. You can see the number, 11 Skype meeting. In 2020, we had, again, 11 Skype meeting up to now. It's normally 1 up to 2 hours. And again, this will not be possible unless there was a collaboration of everybody to be online. And believe me, every time we have the executive, everybody's online. So we have the possibility to quickly change our decision to also discuss all the different subjects. And this has been extremely, I would say, profitable. And again, being so everybody around the world, I'm also impressed on how we did it. But not thanks to me, to everybody, because without the collaboration, this would not be possible. Of course, Andrews is the one who's bringing everything together in this class, which I still think is the best structure. So there should be a president, which is more honorary, then there should be an executive position that takes care and is get paid also, which is correct. And then everybody else is voluntarily with all the different background and value. So coming from technical, I forgot Bas, I'm sorry, I forgot Bas, who's also giving us a very important, I'm sure I forgot many other people, but the class is working mainly because of this voluntary participation of all this, I would also say friends. The 2019 annual conference, and the changes of the equipment. This happened in Bermuda last year. So we're going to have a new equipment for the 2024 Olympics. This decision still has to be confirmed by OC. So we are willing, of course, to collaborate. I think we're already doing this, de facto. The new classes has some difficulties, I think, still now in defining who's managing. There's two classes. One is still officially represented in the website, but the decision will be made by World Sailing. But of course, this is normal. We're not surprised. It's not easy to start from zero to organize such a worldwide organization, and we, being doing this, we are of course happy to provide any support and to help the transition. Many of our sailors are already using the new equipment, which is correct, and I think is the future. We're all facing into the foiling. When I say we, I mean sailing in general. We have the Vendée Globe right now. They have special foiling. There will be America's Cup in 2 weeks. Foiling is everywhere, so I think windsurfing also is moving in the correct direction. There is a need, however, to test the equipment, to test the format, to test the people, to make sure that everything is going to be done in a transparent. I really hope again that our class somehow can be used for what we have. We have a knowledge, we have years of practice already, we have a structure, we have a value that should not be lost. So I know that Andrew is talking to the new people, but anyone else is online, I know, is also involved or is following the development. I think my point today, 2020, is to say that we need to avoid jeopardizing our asset. 2019 for the class has been the best year ever in terms of participation of youth, of numbers of sailors at the events organized, and financially it was the best year ever. We should not lose all this because this is a result of years of investing, especially the youth. So it's extremely important that whatever is going to be the future, and I'm sorry I'm saying this a little bit with some criticism, it should be focused, I think, to help the youth to get into windsurfing. It's already an open door for sailor. After Optimis, a lot of kids, they come to us. Okay, the techno is still a huge reality for 140, 450 sailors every time they have an international championship. And therefore, it's important to focus on this, to protect what we have and continue to develop the youth movement. The new equipment is a bit costly. I don't know who's going to help the youth for this. It's also focused on so-called the seasoned sailor group, which is fine. They have to be there. It's also that is a value that should not be lost. But at the same time, what is going to be the development of our discipline is certainly, and I'm sure everybody agrees, is our young sailor. They will be the one going to Paris. They will be the one going to Los Angeles. So we have to focus on them. We had also a very important year with the relation with Nil Pride, which already started to be difficult in the last 2 years, 2018, 2019, because they were late. We had many complaints, and also because they didn't pay. As you all know, we have a percentage on each piece of equipment that is sold by Nil Pride. And that was about 25,000 euro a year as a revenue for the class, which already stopped at the beginning of 2020, and 2019 was difficult to be paid. We got paid with some delay, and so the relation started to be difficult. In general, the Pride focused a financial crisis. They were almost going to be declared bankrupt between April, May, June this year. So we had many relations with the manager to find a solution, and the solution, just to make it short, was found on the 22nd of June, where we have compensated, I think, about 9,000 euro that they were supposed to give us with the right on the IP. The IP means the property right, intellectual property right over the entire equipment, so design, the trademark, the specification, which is now a full responsibility of the class. So the class has full ownership of the IP right, and the price that was paid was a compensation of the money that they were going to support. So we eliminate the credit that we had with the Nil Pride, and from July, effective 1st of July, we are in a position now to manage the equipment. What this means, well, I leave this to all of you, because it's hard for me to reply. We have already clarified with the four manufacturer, because Nil Pride is doing part of the equipment. Cobra is the main leader in manufacturing the equipment, because they do the board, they do the fin. Then Tecnica Devotion, Italica, they respectively do the mast and the pole, and Nil Pride, through another company, Chinese company, is producing the sail. Now, at the moment, there is we will talk about this later, I think, but we have guaranteed that we are in a position to produce and to distribute what we have. In the last 6 months, the boards that were available for sale has been sold. So at the moment, there's a shortage of boards, where we still have good numbers of booms and masts and sail available to be sold. The purchase of equipment during 2020 has been very small for a number of reasons. First of all, it was supposed to be the Olympic year, so none of the federation were going to buy. But now we have a European champion here, and I know that we opened a way to make orders, and also to give the possibility to buy equipment. We also have 14 distributors, which are the one that exist before, so we really didn't change anything. The key role in managing the distribution and also the ordering is done by Group Satet, which has been always there also before. So they have confirmed that they want to continue with us. So the technicality of all this IP transfer is that we own the rights, so we can give the right to whoever wants, or if any other builder that would like to build the equipment. And also the name Nil Pride is disappearing, so it's no longer in our definition of the boards. It's only RSX, and we hope in this way to achieve two main goals. One is to have a direct relation with producer and be able to control, eventually change, and sanction, and where before we had always Nil Pride in between. Second, perhaps, and perhaps also Andrews can confirm, is the possibility to reduce the price. Having a direct relation with the producer will allow, and we have all the numbers. It's a very complicated document. I really don't think we need to discuss this at the AGM, but we are in a position to reduce the commission. Of course, we are non-for-profit, so we're not looking to make money. We're just looking to organize regatta and to help our sailor through the correct supply chain of the equipment. On the other side, there's people that they are commercial, so the producer, and they have to make money. So we always have this dichotomy position between the class and Nil Pride before, and this will continue. But because we have one chain less, it will be possible to reduce, I think, of 8% the cost of the board finally to the sailor, which also, I think this is a good news, because it's something I always wanted to do, to keep down the price. A technical point which is important and is going to be discussed in the submission is that our class is based on a 4-year program. We have bylaws that clearly say that everybody is appointed for 4 years. They can be reappointed for another 4-year terms for a maximum of 8. Because of the cancellation of the Olympics, we have now this 4th term has become 5th term. So we have 5 years and so we had to amend this. And sometime back in May or June, the executive committee very clearly said, let's keep the actual structure also for 2021, so until the end of the games in Tokyo, and this will mean December 2021. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to have election now, today. This was the year of the election to renew all the executive position also, and I think this was a fair decision Other organizations were sailing also had the same problem, but they went into election. I think we decided to just keep the group as we are because we all clearly work 4 years into 4 years. So it's important to close this period, and this was done through a resolution taken by the executive committee again in May or June. And it's, of course, based on this, we need to amend our bylaws because the bylaws says maximum 4 years and anyway up to the end of the Olympic Games. I don't want to say too much about the pandemic and the COVID, but of course this has influenced everybody. It's a serious issue. The World Health Organization in March made a statement which is like a war statement. I think Macron, he clearly said that ça c'est la guerre. We have a guerre, we have a war going, which has an impact enormous to all the activity, also to sport activity. The games, Olympic Games, have been postponed, hoping that this will take place in July 2021 because the pandemic is still working today. It's still happening today. We have restrictions. But despite all this, we were able to do our World Championship in Sorrento in Australia just before the big explosion of the pandemic virus. So that was February 2020. And of course, we are looking forward to a fantastic week. Hopefully very also in harmony with really the good spirit of sport, men and women, this week, starting tomorrow in Vilamoura, Portugal. So again, special thanks to all of the athletes that despite the difficulty, the restriction, the risk that they are there, they took the initiative to come to our event. Okay, I know it's very difficult. I'm not present in Vilamoura, so I'm really sorry not to be there. But there's also a number of other complicated matters. But again, whoever is there, the 100, I think we almost have 100 sailors registered. They're really doing, I think, a very good example of what the sport also can have a role, what kind of role the sport can have in this difficult situation, which is a combination of medical issue, political issue, financial issue, you name it. So the sport also has always, I think, a social role worldwide. And I think also worth saying is appreciating from what I know, and again, sport, especially sailing, it's a very healthy moment of life of everybody, and in particular sailing has been declared to be very safe. I mean, my Italian Olympic Committee, they made a research which was published about the risk of sports related to the virus and the possibility to be contaminated, and the grade was from 0 to 3. So 0 to 3 was the maximum, and sailing was graded 0. Based on that, the Italian Federation also, perhaps other federations, they did the same. They also declared that windsurfing, particularly because we are single sailor, we are in the middle of the sea by themselves. So it's a very limited risk. So we are actually authorized to organize regatta and to be able to practice. Of course, international, this is different, and we will see also in the next months how this will develop. Hopefully in a positive way. The new equipment has been, as I said, introduced, and we are welcoming this. We see that they're starting to organize a regatta. They are in a preliminary phase, so I don't think we need to discuss much about this. We just have to start collaborating. If it's possible, we should also have some joint event in order to help the transition. This was extremely successful with the techno. For many years there was a comment about, we're not changing, we're not taking the youth from techno to RSX. So we started to have joint events, we started to have programs. We have programs to support, and Diedrich will talk about this later. I think we have to do something similar today to keep our movement, windsurfing, the discipline of windsurfing, which you all know. I mean, I believe online we have the creme de la creme of the sector from experience and capacity and also knowledge today online. You know what I mean? Windsurfing is divided into many branches and sectors. But I think from what I see, and personally, of course, I think that it's a very good moment. It's very favorable. There are the kite, there's also the wing foil today, which is the new latest development. There's the iFoil, and there's the old windsurfer class, which is doing very well. There's still a lot of windsurfing around. So after a number of years, windsurfing was very popular in the 80s and 90s, then it went down, then it went up, and then it got divided into many disciplines. So I think it's important to try to put everything together, and I think this new class is doing this. Because in fact, there's people from slalom, there's people from Fumbar, there's people from professional association, there's people from RSX. So this is absolutely good, because we have to globally and also to be unified as a windsurfing discipline. The new equipment, we will take a decision, I think, in the next months, when we know exactly what is going to be the future, the future of 2021 and also after of RS6, in order to produce. Because all our producers, they want to be, they need to have numbers. And today we don't have numbers because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We are linked to the IOC decision. At the same time, I think we have to start also thinking of using what we have. There's many boards second hand, so what we're going to do with those. There's thousands of boards in Asia, there's many in other countries, so that's something that perhaps has to be put into the next AGM of 2021. These are all our events in 2019. This again is the 2020 calendar. You all know exactly the date. Everybody has been aware of this. This has been discussed during our executive meeting, has been posted also. So this, I'm not going to go through all the events, but we have now, as also Alastair said and Michael said, because Jaime, we have the Olympic Games. We still, as an RSX, have to comply and do our best for Olympic Games, which is a big task. Again, this will not work. It's also, we have to think, despite the COVID, that in the next 6 months, 7 months actually, we're going to have a more visibility. So it's a moment for the class to show the world, sailing world, the sport world, but in general, everywhere, who we are and what we do. So I would just remind myself that in Brazil, we hired a person. In the last months before Rio, we hired a person to produce a video interview, to try to make some marketing in order to bring the spectators, especially those who don't know anything about windsurfing and sailing, to bring the right knowledge, the right information for the July 2021, when we're going to have in Hiroshima our regatta. And this, I think, is going to be done by BAS. So maybe, Andrews, you can say something. I think it's a key role today. Visibility is everything we need to have. And the next 6 months, despite whatever's going to happen, will be a good moment to do this type of activity. But of course, if anyone wants to help or any suggestion on how to do it, we have a website. We can have a special page on the Olympics, for example, where we start now to promote with video interview and things like this, and so on. But I leave this to the discussion. So Andrews, I'm finished for the moment. This is my report. I think we can go to the next report. And of course, if anybody wants to have a clarification, just make a chat, and I'll be happy to reply and to give any clarification on all of the things that I said.
Is there any question to Carlo based on his report? By asking verbally or on chat. Chat is clean, so okay, let's move on then. Martin, his apology, he cannot attend this meeting, but he sent his report by email, and this is on the screen now. So basically, Martin is actually from beginning, even I think almost the beginning of the class time, when he took care of the monies and being a professional company who handling the accountancy and all these things. So I think we are in good hands, and his report is quite positive. Anybody has any question on that?
Andros.
Yes.
And Carlos. Just thanks for the update, Carlos, and it's great to see we've got strong balance. I guess from my coaches and sailors, representing the sailors at this meeting that I am responsible for, is making sure that any activity that we do now, it could be our last Europeans, for example. We might not have events next year that we can necessarily attend, depending on our national situations. That we make sure the events are 100% perfect. We have the funds to do it, and there's no reason not to have to invest in these events that are in front of our faces at the moment. One being making sure that the environment we're in Vilamora is COVID secure, sailing is safe. The dangerous bit is when we come ashore. And I'd urge the executive to, and I suspect also you, Andros, to not hold back for the sort of sake of a few thousand euros, making sure that we've got enough tent space, we've got distancing, that we've got, if it rains, we've got an alternative. We have 2 days to go now to the start of the regatta, and we do everything we can to make this as good as possible. We have the resources, and we can help Vilamora Sailing do that. Is that a fair comment?
Thank you.
It is absolutely fair. It's actually, if I may say something, Andros, very quickly, it's actually very correct to remind the risk and the need of having everything safe, because really we don't want to have any bad news, and I'm not going to elaborate. So thank you very much, Bas, for reminding this. Yes, let's put whatever is necessary in terms of compliance with the rule in Portugal. If it's a cost, we're going to spend the money, no problem. A special thanks, I must say, to all the Portuguese organization and to Nuno Reis. Nuno Reis also today has sent, I think, a WhatsApp information to everybody about what are the rules in Vilamora today. And please respect the rules. It's simple as that. There's nothing we can do. The risk is there. And as a class, if anybody needs to have some kind of comfort in terms of equipment, medical assistance, extra mask, I don't know what, I think Barry is absolutely pointing the need of complying with this. We have money. This will be also for the next regatta. And so I'm totally in favor, and thank you very much, Barry, for bringing this to the attention.
Yep.
Barry, question, any recommendations that you want to make? Because you gave a list of whatever observation. I think, do you have any specific recommendations?
Well, yes, without a doubt, we need more tent space. We need more storage space. At the moment, it's very difficult to be even close to socially distancing. We need more rigging mats. We need things that just make it more comfortable for sailors to in a wider area to make that happen. But I think I'm also thinking broader than the obvious stuff about COVID secure. I'm also thinking that we are at a championship with a small youth class here, and sailors trying to qualify for the big games. And in the past, for example, we've had compromise with fleet being prioritised to go sailing, and the conditions are good. An example would be, Diedrich, that we have a relatively narrow window if we get sort of a thermal wind here to get good racing in, and making sure that we don't compromise the racing as well. If it means that we have to invest in another committee boat or more people to help Nuno and Evo run the event would be an example. And I know it's a bit 11th hour, but these are the things that I think we can certainly back up Vilamora Sailing to achieve the best event we can. And I would hate to hear that, well, we can't afford to have another Mark Lane boat or another, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Is that and it's not that specific, but those are 2 points that would be absolutely relatively easy to solve with money and resource.
Thank you, Barry. Note taken. We can discuss it. Anybody else has any question? If not, then let's move on.
Just perhaps a small thing that I'd like to remind Anders, because it's okay, about the treasurer and how it works, the compliance for financial. We have a very, very simple procedure in the class, which I like to share with everybody again. It's like last year, and it's always been the same. Make one payment every month. So the class, whatever is going to be the expenditure, in terms of reimbursing, traveling, sharing the cost with the local organizer, and paying whatever is the cost for the media, we pay always on the 27th. And this is done with a very simple chain of control, all by email with documents prepared by Andrews around the 15th of the month with a budget. So this month we're going to spend this, and this is sent to me, it's sent to Ilke, and it's sent to Ronnie for approval. I give an approval in writing. It's Martin, our treasurer. He's the one who has the button to make the payment, to make it short and clean. And he pays on the 27th. He pays all the payment of the class once. And this has been a very easy way, very transparent, so we can check all the money coming in, coming out in a very, very simple way. And again, special thanks to Andros, because you know how difficult it is to keep track of the expenditure. We're all around the world, there's invoices coming in, we have to pay, the money's in UK, we have PayPal, we have British pounds. So all this has been done by the secretary. So again, I think it's a system that really works. And I just want to clarify this in relation to the treasurer position and Martin. Also, Martin is a key person in this because he's always helping us in all sense. So let's go, Anders, again.
Yes, thank you, Carlo. Diederik? Anything?
Yes, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Andros. I think the last comments were very, very important. As we look at this rigging area and the tents area, if everybody will be at the same time there, which probably will happen, or the organizing committee will decide that they will start men and women at separate times, so we have a little bit more distance, because we're not starting everybody at the same time, but looking at the weather conditions, the wind conditions, and that there's sometimes just a small window here for racing possible. I think it's very important to have more space in the area, because if we have 100 athletes coming and rigging all together, I think it's not enough space to anyway, but it's also not enough space to deal with the COVID situation. So I hope we can solve that problem in the next day, 1.5 days. That would be great. So I wrote a small report about the Class EP program. You can read it. More important right now, I think, is that we had a year with only a few events. We had the World Championships, and we have now the European Championship. These are our class events. I'm really happy, and I speak from all the coaches, and I think also the athletes, as we have no athlete representative right now, because Pina resigned, and we decided as a executive committee not to have immediately a new athlete representative, but if the meeting wants to have a new athlete representative, then we should this as soon as possible, and then we'll invite athletes to come forward and to present themselves, being available as the athletes representative. So I think 2 points are important. First of all, that it was really important to have the European Championship being held as soon as possible this year. So I think that the decision to move it from Greece to Portugal, because the Greece Federation couldn't organize it anymore, and we took the decision after consulting with most of the coaches where to go. Vila Moura would be the best option, as we will have the next European Championship next year here. Would be the best to have all the equipment already here, so the MNAs, the nations, can decide to stay here for the winter to do training. Vila Moura is willing to help us by organizing some training events here. Some races will be organized. They have the the Grand Prix where we can be a part of it, they also are able and willing to help us with IQ fall or foiling racing if needed. So I think it's a very good option. It was a very good option to be here, and we are lucky that we can still race. So I think we made the best decision that was possible. With the help of the club also, of course. I mean, we have a fantastic place here to do it. So we are lucky, and I think it's also good that we do it as soon as possible after asking athletes and coaches to finish our European qualification already this year, so the athletes that will not qualify can focus on their future, whatever they want to do, and those athletes who will qualify have some time to prepare for the Olympic Games next year. Also, the risk of not having a qualification maybe next year, because nobody knows what will happen, is maybe there. So it's good to finish it now. So I think we are in a good situation, and we're all happy for this. And thanks for the executive committee and everybody who's helping us who have made this possible. The second point, from coaches' perspective and athletes' perspective, I think is, or I'm sure, is the situation with the equipment. First of all, we are happy that the class solved the problem, that New Pride is not anymore responsible as the main manufacturer responsible for all the equipment. The class took over the IP rights and is now dealing directly with the manufacturers of the different parts. What we think is very important now is to have a kind of timeline and an idea what will happen with equipment that is needed for M&As in the next month. I know that there's already a decision about it, the 23rd of November, to put in your orders for Group Sate. I had some feedbacks from athletes from the last months that were trying to get equipment through Group Sate, that they had some issues. They had some problems. It was not delivered in time. There was a delay. And one of the athletes that is trying to qualify was ordering fins. They should have been there already in September, and then there was a delay. And then actually he got them 1 week ago, so there was no time for him to test the fins because there were no conditions anymore to test the fins 1 week before the qualification event. And this is just one example. So I think we should try to have a better relationship with the stakeholders right now who are responsible for the equipment from now towards the Olympics, that we know exactly when do we get equipment, when we order it, how much pieces of equipment are still there. I know there is a list, but I think we need to update it. If there is an order, how many boards do they need? Minimum, for instance, COBA to start the production. What is the last possible time to get orders in before the Olympics, and so they are sure that they get the equipment? Is there a possibility to have the Japanese distributor activated in a way that we can still order equipment and get it in time in Enoshima, so they don't need to bring it there, but they can actually pick it up in Enoshima? I think those questions are very important right now for the next 8 months to solve and to get answers to get back. I think this is an issue from my point of view, from the coach's point of view, that I've been talking with, and from the athletes' point of view, that are qualifying for the Olympics already or still have to qualify. Any comments?
Yes, there is one
questions.
Yes, thank you, Didrik. There is a question from Borja that is going to be any option to order equipment in the future, or is there the last opportunity? So what? Just if Didrik, you don't mind, just a very short update from my side. Addition what you said. This is correct. I released, I think, 3 times the newsletter to a whole fleet about the intention to make an order, because we have 4 manufacturers and 3 of them, they have a stock. So they can ship the equipment almost immediately. Only manufacturer who has no stock is Cobra. And as you know, that Cobra is such a big company that they are not going to produce RS6s like a 2, 3 or even 10 RS6s. They need to open the production line, and to open the production line they need a quantity for that. So that's why the plan was, and plan still is, to collect the orders all around the world so we can put the order to Cobra. And that's why the deadline has been given to Group Sate as a bigger distributor at the moment, the 23rd of November, which is tomorrow. So everybody who has not ordered yet, please contact to Group Sate. This information has been published already, I would say, a month ago, so it's not the last moment information to you. So you had plenty of time to put your orders on. However, I just spoke yesterday also to Group Sate, and we are delaying the collection of the orders until end of this month. So by end of November, please put your orders on, and after that, Group Sate is going to make an order to Cobra, and Cobra is ready to produce it. I also have been in contact with Cobra. They are waiting the order, and here we go. So, and then for the delivery time from Cobra, it's about 60 to 90 days, but they're doing their best to get as soon as possible. So for the future and the further orders, as I said before, all other manufacturers, they have a stock, and I think it's a plenty of stock, like some 100 sails and 100 masts, so I don't think there is any problem with that. And the delivery times are much shorter. But about the boards, it's more or less the same. So, especially now, nobody wants to take a risk. No Cobra, not you. I mean, because nobody knew exactly what happens with RSX and how it goes and what happens with Olympic Games. And now it's clear, as also Alistair said and Michael said, that the Olympic Games will take place. So at least something is clear in this world, and that means that if somebody wants to have order the new equipment for Olympics, they need to think about this now. What Didrik, you mentioned about the Japanese distributor, I contacted Group Shiriro, who was the official distributor in Japan, and they are not dealing with RSX anymore. And at the moment I'm just trying to understand, and I know we have a Japanese delegate also here. What I understood is that the Japan Windsurfing Association has been taken over, the distribution of Japan. So I'm trying to clarify how it's going to work, and if it's really going to work, then yes, I would say it should be possible to make orders through the Japanese distributor. But once again, I don't know, we have a Japanese delegate here, Yasuko. Yasuko, are you here? Are you want to give some quick update on that, if you know, or not?
In the meantime, on the test, there's a post from Ali Masters working for Singapore. He said we won't be able to order until post-qualification, which is the Asian Championship, mid-February. And Matthew from Estonia was writing that they have no budget for 21 yet, so they cannot order before probably January or February 21. So how can we? How can we help them?
I mean, that's what I said. How can we help? We are, as Carlos said. I mean, we are not selling anything as a glass. We only think what we need to put up the procedures and solutions between the distributors and the manufacturers, and that's what we are doing. But as I also received from the both sides, from distributors and also from manufacturers, that no one is going to produce something in stock without knowing that there will be customers. So that Cobra was very clear on that. They are not going to make the stock right now when the class is technically finishing next year, and then later on they will face up with a useless or pointless equipment on the stock. So nobody wants to take risks. I can see some questions now on the chat, the same thing, that how can we order now if we don't have a budget for 2021? This is something, guys, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe my colleagues can correct me, but this is something that I cannot or class cannot help you on this. If you don't have a budget, the manufacturers, they are not going to take a risk to produce something to the stock just in case maybe somebody will buy it. It will just not happening. So somebody has to take some risks, and this is what we are facing now. So, but we are still available, and we are trying to find solution, and this is the first step now. What I believe it's a good step forward is that we have a deadline, and we are creating the bigger order now for the Cobra. There was a question that there was no deadline on the website. I mean, I sent the newsletter, the mailing list, it was in Facebook, all the newsletters, all the dates are there, guys. I mean, if you don't read them, I don't know how else I can help you. So it was quite well before posted this deadline that it is going to happen 23rd of November, but now end of this November. So it's still time. Please make your order, and please contact the distributors. If you have any special conditions about the money wise, no budget now, you need to get your money in January, please contact them. You need to deal directly to sellers, which is distributors. And I don't think the class should take any responsibility to be filter, because we cannot buy anything for you. Carlo, you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to add that in the negotiation with the IP rights, one of the points is that Cobra and all the other producers, but it's mainly Cobra the problem, they must have stock. So we were quite surprised in knowing from Cobra something like in September that all the boards were sold. We immediately took the initiative to say you need to keep a stock, especially because we have the Olympic Games. So you need to have 20, 30 boards ready, because we will have, and I see here Matthew Richard is saying that he doesn't have a badge, but maybe he wants to buy a board. And he also wants to know the list of all things available. All this is available with Satet today. So if you call Satet, they know exactly how many boards. We have a list, so we can perhaps make a follow-up on what is the situation today. But the situation today is only purely for the fin and for the board, which of course is a huge. I will take the initiative to speak with Cobra based on the order that we're going to collect by the 23rd. The date was in fact on one of the newsletters, I remember, in order to impose and ask Cobra to have, however, a stock of 50, 100, whatever is going to be the number available for everybody.
Yeah.
Just a clarification, Andros, about Japan. You see somebody wrote that there's no more distributor in Japan.
Yes.
So they also need to buy abroad. Yeah.
Thank you, Carlo. And also just Jaime mentioned that the World Sailing is willing to help in case we need any communication with the manufacturer, and really appreciate that. But on the other hand, we need to be realistic. And I can see also a question from Patrick that but it takes 60 to 90 days. It always has been. It takes time. And last month, I would say months, like half year, we didn't receive any requirement or not requirement, any request for the order, any order. So, and now suddenly people waking up and I need equipment now. It's not going to happen in this world, especially in pandemic situation. So as I said before, no manufacturer, we cannot force any manufacturer now in this uncertain situation to produce the stock. I know there is a contract and so on, but the situation is extraordinary, because once again, I cannot see the power, even the World Sailing. How can World Sailing force any manufacturer to produce the stock if there is no customers, no order? And this is something that we need to find a compromise, and somebody need to act, and that's why it's, I think, three parties situation. First of all, the M&As. They need to realize, they need to understand, to make clear what they want, what they really want, and they need to put orders in, because it takes time. Even if you're ordering now, it takes 60, maybe 90, not maybe 90, 60 days. It takes 2 months. It just takes 2 months. And this is reality. So you need to prepare, you need to be planned for your orders. And there's no shop available that you're going to shop and I want to buy this and that. This is the situation now. So, yeah. Once again, we are between, and we are communicating with the manufacturers, and we are trying to do our best. And I can tell you, at the moment, all 4 manufacturers, they are willing to help as much as they can. But nobody's going to do.
I think I wanted to make
Yes,
I wanted to make a second term to have the final orders, and Ali Masters is just answering or writing the same, that looking at the Asian qualification, which is mid-February, ending, was it the 20th of February or 22nd February? I want to ask a second deadline, which could be right after the Asian qualification, to place orders. That gives them from the end of February till, let's say, end of April, to produce and to get the equipment delivered in the time April and May. So that could be a solution for those who have no budget in this year, but have the budget beginning of next year.
Thank you.
And maybe it's even possible, if those athletes want to have the equipment delivered in Japan, that the manufacturers are not sending it to, if you order it in Group Sate, but they send it to any possible address in Japan. If there's no distributor, maybe they can send it to the Enoshima Sailing Club or whatever. Is that a good idea?
Thank you, Leader. Just one issue that I fully agree that we are happy. I mean, everybody happy to make a second order, or even if needed the third order, if there is a time for that. But again, we need the quantities because once again, if the order will be just like 4, 5 boards, I don't think the Cobra will open a production line for 5 boards. So it has to be. And that's why we need kind of feedback. And actually, we asked before the feedback if what are you planning? Because I know quite many Olympic sailors or Olympic MNAs who are going to the Olympic. They want to use the second-hand equipment or used equipment, and so that's why we don't have a clear overview how many MNAs want to have a new equipment for Olympic Games. Because I didn't receive any question, any concern, any problem on that. So that's why if you share this information, we would have a better view. But but we are ready, as Didrik said. If there's a need for second order, for sure we're happy to make it, or not we, but the distributors.
Yeah, and I think it was also not a surprise that this issue is now getting more and more active, let's say, because now we're starting to get back into racing. So from now on, it will be an issue. In the last 5-6 months, it was not an issue because nobody was doing serious racing. They were only training. So
exactly, and this is exactly what happens. Like I know you and you know me, and we know each other very well. That there was one person, good friend of us. He just came a few weeks ago. Said, I want to say now for this event where I can get it. And I had to say, sorry, I mean, you cannot do it now, like 2 weeks time to buy a new sail. You need to think a little bit earlier for that. And this is, I think, the problem of the class, which is going to approach to the end, that nobody wants to take risks, and everybody wants to make a decision at the last moment. But unfortunately, somebody has to take risks and plan beforehand.
Okay, Andrew, let's keep going on the report. Perhaps we can leave this at the end if anybody wants to make a comment.
The next report is Eva. Eva is on a plane now flying, but her report is quite short. Technically, there was not that many events in 2020. Actually, the last event was World Championship in Australia. And then we have this event now, but basically use us please now unmute. Okay, I can unmute.
You can please mute your microphone while we're announcing.
I can do it. So if you don't speak, please unmute yourself. So basically, you can see on the slide. So they are still responsible for appointing people to our events. However, If it's a qualification event, then the World Sailing takes this responsibility over, like this event here in Vilamura, because it's a qualification event Olympics to European continent. Then World Sailing appointing officials. So and then class rules and event documents. So this is, if anybody has any question to technical committee, then no. Okay, let's move on. I know somebody made yellow. Bass. Sorry. Bass, our class chief measurer. Floor is yours.
Okay, Chris.
Yep.
So my report is going to be relatively short, given that we've had one event since the last AGM, which was in Sorrento, Australia, for the World Championships in 2020. The work that we've been doing in the background has been primarily in assisting the transfer of the IP rights across to from Neil Bride and their approved manufacturers back across to other manufacturers and opening that process up. The Worlds was attended by Pilar as the chief measurer for the event, and I'm very grateful for Javi for taking my place at the Europeans in Vilamura coming up this week. I was unable to attend due to travel restrictions and work restrictions personally myself, so I'm very grateful for Javi for picking this up at the last minute, so thank you, Javi. Where we are going forwards, we've been in touch with World Sailing as to what they intend to do with regards to the Olympic Games and what they understand to be the best equipment inspection procedures for the world, for the Olympics, and trying to support some of that from a perspective from the our events in the lead up to that. Obviously, that's been quite challenged in terms of where we are at the moment and the number of events and the number of events that I can attend and the number of events that we can support with data gathering. But we continue to try and do that in terms of supporting World Sailing in what they wish to deliver from the Olympic Games. It should not be, in our opinion, in the class's opinion, too far from where the class has been so far in terms of what's going on. In terms of the next 12 months, the focus is going to be on supporting the equipment side going forwards into the Olympics. Other than that, we do not anticipate any major issues or changes going forwards. There are a number of minor class rule amendments that we put forward for this AGM, primarily around the IP and the manufacturer's rights that would like to make sure that are clarified and consistent with what the situation is today. Other than that, there are no other issues. I'd be very happy to take any questions from any members of the AGM. Thank you.
Thank you, Bas. Anybody has any question to Bas? Thank you. Okay, so moving on. Carlo, are you? Financial report. So.
Sorry, can I ask one question too?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Because I'm not sure about what is the warranty system when we are dealing with different manufacturers now. So how does that work?
So the issue is that the manufacturer is exactly the same as before, with the difference that there is no Neil Bride between anymore. So, as Carlos said, we have Neil Bride, we have a technical devotion for the booms, we have Cobra, and we have IWD. So these four manufacturers, they are not dealing directly to any customer. So they're only dealing with the distributors. So at the moment we have 14 distributors listed on our website. So all the sailors, all M&As, if anybody wants to buy anything, they need to contact with the distributor only. And then the distributors will make orders to manufacturers. And the same applies for the warranties. So if anybody has any warranty issue, they need to contact the same distributor they bought the equipment. So the distributors are responsible also to deal with the warranty cases. So once again, it's like a normal business. You have distributors who are contacted with the manufacturers, and you will get whatever you order, you want. Class is not between that.
Thanks, Anders.
Thank you.
Just for clarification for everybody.
So Carlo, we moved on, and financial statements. So actually, it also has been posted in April already when we finished the 2019, and Martin and his company put it together, the financial statement as always. So it has been posted, and there are the numbers. I really hope you took your time to see them before that, and basically, if you, Carlo, you want to make comment, or I will do it.
Briefly, first of all, this is the financial statement of our class, which is an LTD in the UK, so we have to comply with the UK law. This is the financial statement up to December 2019. You can see the turnover, 163,000 euro with respect to 2018. It's much higher. And the reason is because we had a record. It was the best year ever, 2019, in all sense. And this is also reflected in our turnover that year. So I will go to the next slide if there's any other comments. We had also more expenses, of course, that year. We had more traveling, and the reserve is almost the same. The cost, you can see the secretary is the only payroll that we have. This is the only paid position, which is, I think, is very good money, because we need somebody to be on the issue every day. It will never work. This is also an advice for new classes. You need to have one person who's fully responsible. Then, of course, 2019 to 2018 is the big general expensive. It's 129,000, and we had 77 the year before. This is the traveling, and also is the sharing that we do.
No,
as Larry said before.
Sorry,
we share our revenue with the local organizer every time we do a regatta, and this, of course, sometimes is made on a 50-50 agreement. Very often, then the 50-50 becomes 60-40 because they need more money, and we are very flexible. We are very big. We have to, let's say, renegotiate, but amicably discuss, especially the media. And the media is always one of those costs that we put 30,000, and everybody says yes, we have 30,000 for covering the media, but then it's never 30,000. And of course, the class very often comes in and pays. So this is where we had the expenditure, always with the idea of giving a value to the sailor. We also paid for, in Torbole, we paid for a party, we paid some food, things like this. So we go from serious issue on how to handle regatta to also small cost that I think the class has a duty to take. And luckily, all this year we had a good financial situation. So the policy of financial management, I think, is not wrong, it's correct. So we should continue like this. And this is a statement up to 2019.
Yeah, so if anybody has any, basically the main difference here is that the expenditure, general administrative, is the part when we are paying to the organizers. So the higher our turnover, the bigger our general administrative expenses. So this is proportional on that. If anybody has any question on that regarding, because we need now vote to approve this 2019 financial statements, and before going voting, anybody has any question?
as we did also in the other years, that there's no really question. I will not even ask for a vote. I was, if anybody's against or has any request of clarification, we prefer to have a vote, Andrews, just to speed up the situation.
Okay.
This has been published, I think, since April. We published this in April.
Yes.
So if anybody
Carlos, can I ask if you're, it doesn't relate to voting on this, but it relates to the budget. Are you going to talk about the budget going forward into 2022 and surplus? Is that going to be spoken about at some point?
Yeah. Yes, Barry. This is
2020. Then we have 2020. Yes, but of course, yes.
This is 2019. We are going to give overview of what happens 2020, and then we need to approve the budget for 2021. So this specifically is 19.
So again, Anders, I think there's no comments. Perhaps can I ask if this is confirmed that everybody's in agreement to approve the financial year up to December 2019? Please send a chat, or if you ask, just say something. Otherwise, I give another 5 seconds, and otherwise we can consider this approved. I think, Anders. Also, I do this not because I don't want to go to voting, but just to save time. If you want, we take a vote. If somebody wants to have a vote on this, please send a chat. But it's clear to me that
I think everyone, yeah.
Okay. Therefore, we can declare this approved. I ask, and nobody has opposed. This is the 2020. So it's this year, so it's 11 months, so we still have another month. And thank God we have Vilamura, because it's providing us a little bit of money. You can see here and especially the number 2, the championship entry fee. We were expecting 80,000, and of course we had 20,000. So there's a lack of expectation on the estimate that we made last year. It's not the fault of anybody, it's just COVID. We didn't have regatta, and we stopped the relation with Milpride, which are the 2 class main support in terms of financial. So instead of 80,000, we only had 20. Then the Worlds, the youth is 0-0. We didn't have the Worlds because we gave everything to Sorrento. Sorrento was one of the unique situations where we decide not to share. So all the entry fee of Sorrento was kept by the organizer in Australia. I don't want to tell you why, because it's a number of issues behind, but as a class we said, okay, good, just keep the money, and we didn't ask for any contribution. The youth world was cancelled, so that's another 15,000 euro. So you put together, we were estimating 80,000, we got 20, 60, 80, 95, it's about 100,000 less this year. This is, you see at the end, the total income. We were supposed on the budget 113, and instead we only had 28. So we have 70% less of the expectation in terms of financial this year. Thank God we had the reserve. So this is the cash flow. I hope you can see it. It's a bit small, but the costs are all detailed. 2020. So we had, in a way, less administrative costs. You see the first point, number 1, this is a good news, because we were envisaging almost the same cost of 2019, where everybody was going around the world. We had to pay for ticket. We were paying also the events, where in fact we only had 17,000 in November this year. So this, you have to read everything by a single position. I don't think we need to go through all of them. We have a deficit. Okay, the expenditure is up to now is 61,000 euro instead of 123 with the estimate that we did. Of course, this is prepared by me and Andros, the chair vice president, and discussed with executive. There's always Martin behind. So I can really, whoever wants to have a more detailed, itemized, even copy of the invoices if you want, everything is available. But the point is that we had certainly less, but also we had less expenditure this year, 2020. This is not going to be approved later. Technically, according to bylaws, this will be approved in our next AGM. But it's just an information that we want to give to the class. This is the way where we are today. So if any comments again, we can proceed with 2021, I think, budget. So let's give another 10 seconds. Does anyone have to have a clarification on this? So I'll take this also as a consent. And again, thank you
Okay.
for supporting the class. We are trying to do our best. This is the situation that we have 2020.
So, yeah, so 2021, if I make a short comment on that. So basically, no one knows exactly what happens, and technically it all depends on you as a members of our class, because the class is you, nobody else. So basically, income side, we just roughly we took half of the normal collection of the fees, because probably those who are deciding after this event or even before or later, they are not going to raise any more RSX. They are probably not going to pay any fee for this class anymore. So maybe this number will be much less, maybe it will be bigger. It depends on participation at the events, and probably the countries who are going to Olympics, they still need to pay. So this is expectation. Then about the championships. Again, is it optimistic? Maybe it's too optimistic. Maybe it's realistic. We don't know. That the world championship we're still hoping to run in China. I don't think it will be the collection of 20,000. 20,000. I can give you some imagination. If we're taking 200 euros the entry fee, that means 100 sailors. So I don't think. I hope we have more than 100 sailors in the worlds, but this is we need to put some numbers. Next year in Vilamura, the same as here. We are not reaching, unfortunately, the 45,000 as it was in Palma. So those are the numbers what we are working. So our income plan for next year is about 40,000 euros. It can be less, it can be more. Also now, based on that, the expenditure is shrinked a little bit. I mean, where we can do it. We are still keeping some numbers in. For instance, like a World Sailing Conference AGM. Technically, it's a 1,000, but we never really spent this money. So this is, but just in case there was any idea or any need to do. And then I mean the scholarship, we decided not to have any scholarship because, as I said, class is about to end our era, and giving room and space and opportunity to the new class. So this is the way how nicely and smoothly to close it. So I don't know if anybody has any specific question on that. Would be
Yeah, this is the right to.
So at the moment, as you see, that it's a negative budget. So we are like a 20,000 in a minus, but that means that we need to use our reserves if we are going to use the budget as stated here. But as I said, it all depends on you, all depends on participation, all depends on many things.
Yes, we look forward to anyway to keep our financial situation as stable as possible, not to get into a total deficit. As Andrew said, the 2021 it's going to be an important year for the class, because we have to decide then what to do in 2022. There's a number of considerations, but I'm not going to do this now. You all know what I mean. I mean, the new class, the ICO decision, the Asian Games, which are still with the RSX, and of course all the equipment available in the different federation and so on. So I will leave this general consideration. So again, on the budget, this is not, this has to be approved technically because it's the year for the estimate for next year. And again, shall we have a vote on this? This is a serious issue. Unless, if everybody agrees also to save time, can I just ask, whatever, Andrews, what do you think? Shall we ask for the vote? Let's have to vote this time. So if you can please make...
okay. Let me open the poll.
Please just vote yes or no, or I abstain. So I'm formally asked to confirm if you agree on approving this 2021 class budget.
Okay.
Others now go to make the votation.
Poll is open
It's
now.
going to be very simple. So please express your vote, approve, reject, abstain. We're talking about approving the budget for 2021.
Okay, so 15, 16, 17, more votes, 18, 19, couple more, 20, 21, anybody else? Some seconds. Two, 23, should be okay now.
Yes, please.
Yeah, hi, it's Barry. Just actually, you can see me. That's nice for you.
Yeah.
Just regarding the surplus, are we going to discuss that at next AGM?
Well, yes.
Going into 2022.
Can I just close this? I see this 74% has approved, so we can put this on the minutes that has been approved.
Okay.
There's 26 abstain, nobody is rejecting, so thank you very much again for the trust in our work. Then the question of Barry, it's £100 million question. Yes, thank you. I don't know what to do with the surplus. It's up to you. This is class money. Today is the 22nd of November. There's still some uncertainties about who we are, where we're going, what's going to happen. I think we cannot take a decision today. 2020, we have to do it at the AGM 2021. But to reply, the question was what we're going to do with our surplus. We are lucky that we have a surplus first. I don't know how many classes, especially windsurfing classes, they have a financial situation like us for 9 years now. Sailing Federation Association also, there's very few, especially the Olympic one, there's very few that they have a reserve and financial capacity like us. So with a little bit of pride, I think we have to say this, because it's thanks to all of you. I mean, we are doing our best, but this is not my money, it's not Andrew's money. It's our money that we use to do and run our game. We are non-for-profit. I say this all the time, I repeat this year. So we have a very specific goal, just to organize regatta. So what we're going to do with the surplus? It's up to us. We can invest it, we can, according to our bylaws, if we go into liquidation, we can give it to the new class, to the new Olympic class, sorry. It's in our bylaws. So whoever drafted the bylaws already was thinking that should the RSX finish, like, we have examples also, Barry. What happened with Missa? What happened with Lancashire?
I'm aware of that, and I think that's why this cohort, for example, we're not going to be voting on stuff come an AGM in 2022. We'll all have moved on somewhere else. So pretty much. So I think if we don't have it nailed in an AGM virtual, otherwise in May next year, and it's going to be very difficult to for the class to come up with a coherent policy for that money. And I think we just need to have that front and centre going into that AGM. Needs to be some led by the you guys as a starting point, I think.
So Barry, just a comment. We actually it's coming on a last page or one of the last pages about the next year AGM. Initially, the plan was to have the World Championships or some events, but nowadays, first of all, we don't know how many countries going to World Championships and if it happens at all. So therefore, I think the virtual meeting is approved quite well. So for sure, the next meeting also will be virtual, whatever situation is. Even if the pandemic is over, the plan is still to run it virtually, so everybody has opportunity to attend. and it should happen after Olympic Games. So when the game is over, then all M&As, the stakeholders, they had to make a decision what happens, because we know still that we have some regional games are still taking place, so it might happen that there was some activity happening afterwards, but it is not clear. We need some more clarity on that during the year. But definitely.
Is it sure that the Asian Games are with the RSX? Because I was asking this question to the Asian Sailing Federation executive leaders, and the notice of race has not been published, so they couldn't give me an answer about equipment for the Asian Games.
That's right. And actually also, I don't know, probably Alastair already left. As you know, that regarding the youth worlds and the bid is open, so there's a different classes who can bid, and RSX made a bid for also the youth, but it was cancelled because of cancellation of or postponement of the youth games. So, I mean, yeah, as Carlos said, $1 million question, but it's not our call. It's not my call. It's not our board call. It's still stakeholders and M&As. So.
Yeah, okay, but I think we as executive, or whoever is in executive, the next 6 months, 7 months before we have the next AGM, I think we should make.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Let's up and give proposals so they can. We can vote on it. The stakeholders can vote on it for the future use of the money that's still in our accounts in case the class is not active anymore.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
I still hear some comments of Bruno, the IPSA. I don't know what's IPSA, but the money disappeared. This is not going to happen.
No, yeah, we will.
It didn't disappear. It was somewhere in Thailand, I guess. But
no, but
that's a long time ago.
They're not going to happen in the RSX class.
Yeah, I agree.
It's never happened in this 8 years. It will not happen if we have to go into liquidation. We will be very transparent in deciding what to do with the money. And if we need to support our discipline and promote windsurfing and sailing in general, we will do it in the right way with the majority of the decision of the M&A of this class.
Right. So at the very end,
we decided to have our AGM after the Olympics. Is that correct, Andrews? No, not at the Worlds in China.
No, after Olympics. Yeah. So I can also, at least from my.
Go back to Barry. Because Barry said we need to discuss.
Okay. So I didn't pick that up. So
I think it was recently discussed, Barry. But I think it's more proper to have our AGM after the Olympics.
Yeah. So thanks for that, and I can also, at least from my side personally, promise that this will not happen. The money doesn't disappear anywhere. So what happens before with the different classes, different people, I mean, that's not our business. So definitely we are, as we have been, and we are going to keep it transparent and you informed and so on. And actually, I got very good comments. So at the very end, if we don't find any place to put the money, maybe we can make a very good move to contribute to helping World Sailing on that when they have some financial difficulties. So, but I mean, this is still the stakeholders to decide, and we have a little bit time for that. Let's maybe move on. Just a little bit. Okay, there was a question coming, the prize money, to distribute prize money. Well, I remember the times in World Sailing also, actually there was a kind of issue with the prize money. First of all, it will be charged. If we're using the prize money, if it exceeds amount, we need to charge for that. And I understood the impression is that the Olympic sport should not be any prize money, but I mean, just sharing the money, the amount of the money, usually using the prizes, it's just one event, 2 events, and money is gone. So is this the best way to do it, instead of maybe giving this money to the new class or helping the youth development, like Immersion Nation program? I think it's more reasonable to put money there, but this is not the decision today. And that's why I think, as Carlo also said, that we have a time to prepare for the next year AGM to make our proposal. Where is the best way to put the money, and then still the stakeholders, the full members, they are going to make decision. And if all the members they're deciding that this money should go to prize money, then what can we say? That's your call. But definitely we are coming up with a maybe more reasonable ways to spend this money.
Can I just ask Alistair, because he's still online, Alistair, is there a chance that the RSX will not be included in the Asian Games?
Alistair, if you are...
Yeah, sorry, I was just unmuting myself. So I think it's still to be discussed. We have not made any decision one way or the other. We haven't had any discussions about it. So I think all I can do is take that comment back and discuss it inside the office, reach out to the Asian Games technical delegate and review it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I know that many Asian countries, they more or less think that the RSX is already officially selected as the Asian Games equipment. And so they actually are, let's say, they are holding the budgets for RSX right now, and they don't put money into the new Olympic class, because for them the Asian Games are more important than the Olympic Games are. So we are stopping actually the IQ fall development in that continent based on information that is not really, let's say, we don't know if RSX is in or out. So it's very important for them to have a fast decision on it, I think.
Yeah, no, completely understood. And I think actually the wider discussion that we need to have as well with the Asian Games organisers is what events are going to be open for Olympic qualification for Paris 2024. And that will for sure have an impact on whether the IQ foil is selected. And it could well be that in Asia, they want to have 2 windsurfing classes. That would be possible. But for sure, as I said, the wider discussion is going to be around Olympic qualification, because World Sailing definitely wants to use the Asian Games where possible for as many events as possible for Asian continental qualifiers.
Thanks.
Makes sense. Thanks, Alistair. Okay. Any other comment? Then, Carlo, maybe we can move ahead with the submissions. We have two submissions. There's a question. Okay.
The submission, it's really some kind of adjustment, homework, and very legal stuff, and I think there's not much to be said unless somebody wants to comment. So let's go through the submission first. One is an amendment to the Constitution, the other is an amendment to the class rules. The Constitution is mainly related to, first of all, authorize to have an online AGM. It was not clearly specified in the bylaws, so someone said, we have to amend and include this possibility in the bylaws. We decided with the executive committee to follow the worldwide trend that yes, it's possible to have a virtual AGM. We are doing it today, so I don't think there's much to say on that. We just have to amend and include this in the bylaws, so the possibility, as I said, to have the online virtual meetings. Which again, we've been doing also with the executive committee every month via Skype, so it's just a small clarification. The second changes is the duration of the executive committee. There was a conflict in the interpretation, because on one side, the bylaw said that we could not be elected more than 8 years. On the other side, it said that we have to be in place until the end of the Olympics period. So due to this postponement of 20 to 21, the question arises that, well, are we finished or do we have to continue? Which is interpretation? 8 years, because it's the maximum that you can be. I've been president now for 8 years. I'm going to my 9 years in 2021. And again, the games are not finished, so I have to stay until Tokyo. So anyway, to make it short, we made this proposal, which is mainly to say that if something happened again that we have to postpone, it's really the end of the Olympic years that matters. So it could be 4 years, could be 5 years, but it's important thing to finish the program of the games. So it's normally 4 years, and we asked to amend this in this. And then the other one is to have the approval of Nil Pride. There were a couple of approval requested by Neil Pride in terms of appointment people. Now Neil Pride is no longer there, so we have to just eliminate this from our constitution. So I don't know if Andrews,
Yes.
you want to say
I
something
mean,
more?
just one short comment to the last proposal is that yes, we were just removing the reference to the Neil Pride as appointing the manufacturer's rep, and also we are making clear, which is not really clear now, how the representatives will be elected. I mean, the sailors and coaches rep, and as it has been in a practice that the fleet is appointing them. So basically, we want to make clear on the constitution that it's the responsibility of the fleet. Is it the coaches fleet or sailors fleet to appoint the rep by them, and then we just need to accept it, or the class should accept it. So I think it's a good change, just to make clear that the fleet is responsible of appointing the representatives. And then maybe technical question, no, Carlo. I don't know if we can ask if. Are you happy to vote and approve the whole submission, the 3 proposals all together, or you want to go separately the three proposals? Maybe I put the question that way. If anybody wants to vote separately, please chat now or say it now. Otherwise, we asking you to vote submission three proposals at one time. Okay. Okay. So I'm going ahead. Then I will open the poll for.
All in one. Thank you. Alexi currently is clearly saying that. I think it's important to vote. So let's use this system. So again, I'm seeing vote for submission number 1 about the changes of our bylaws in order to comply with the, let's say, developments. So please vote now, approve, reject, or abstain. Thank you.
Okay, 20, we should have 23 votes max. 21. Couple more. Anybody who didn't vote? Maybe they left. Okay, it seems like we have 21 votes, so I will end poll now. Share results. So we have 18 on favor, no reject, and 3 abstain. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much again. So very quickly to next submission, it's again an even smaller issue. We have reference in our class rules that we make reference to the IP rights and the rights of Neil Pride. We just have to change this from Neil Pride to RSX class. So again, it's a very small change. It is next, maybe next slides, Andrews.
Yeah, so sorry. So yeah, basically this is for me it's like a housekeeping. We really, because there is no reason anymore to refer to the Neil Pride, and by speaking also to World Sailing, to Jaime about that, and actually who pointed out that we should correct our class rules on that. So this is really, we need to do it in. Maybe I should not say that, but there is no way that we should not do that because it doesn't make any sense. That's why I would say it's a more like a housekeeping, and but procedurally I still open the poll for that, and then let's go and vote.
So again, please vote for the second change, second submission, which is to eliminate reference to Neil Pride and only leave. So approve, reject, and abstain, please. Thank you. On submission number 2.
21, one more. Then we have thank you. So 19 and 2, and poll share results. So we have a 19 in favor, 0 reject, and 2 abstain. Thank you. Okay.
So we're getting close to the end of of the AGM, but it's important that we go into our next activity. So the next part, Andrews, if you
Yes, I'm just moving.
want to continue.
So it's a more informal, like information to you what happens next year.
Yeah.
So,
and so we put a slide, which is next slide. Perhaps you can show it, and then we go back quickly, which is status and future of RSX.
No, I mean just no. This is let's go first the championship. Quickly through. So the Asian Championship, we discussed that it's a rule at the moment. It's a 14 to 20 of February. So anybody who want to travel to Abu Dhabi, warm place, hopefully nice event, like the previous times. So it happens for now. If any change, we will inform you all about that. And then the same event, European Championships, Vilamura, 7 to 13 of March. It also, the plan is to have the Youth Worlds at the same time. So it's too many events in one regatta, but I don't think there is any sense to make the separate Youth World Championships. So therefore, it will, for youth, it will be as Youth Worlds as the Europeans. And it will be together with the 470 Worlds. And it's Olympic qualifier for 470. So the fleet will be bigger, more people, and the reason for that time is because of Palma. Initially we were considering to have the event a little bit earlier or later, but if we are doing it later, then it will be too close to Palma, and I know that most of us we want to travel to Palma to sail in Palma, so we need to have some gap between these events. So that's why the 7 to 13 would be the good one. And also, why not to do it a little bit earlier, because I know that at least some Asian countries are planning to come to Vilamura just because to travel ahead to Palma. And if we are doing it too early, then the gap will be too long between two events. So therefore, that's the best timing regarding the other events. Yeah, there was some people concerned already this time that if anybody will come this event, do we have enough sailors for this event? I don't think anybody can say it now. I'm still positive. I believe that the people want to compete. Some countries, they want to show the results. They need the results because based on results they will get the funding. So and therefore I'm quite optimistic that it will be still good participation. The World Championships in Qinhuangdao, it's a new place which is basically northeast from Beijing. We have a contract signed. They are very keen to host it, but again we need to update because different things. I don't think there is any political obstruction to have it, but mainly what is the pandemic situation at that time in China, and if anybody wants to travel. I just telling you, I mean, kind of not thinking loudly, but I was considering, and I contact with Gonzalo Costa from IQ Foil Class that maybe to have something together, because the organizer is happy to host whatever we want. I know that the IQ Foil World Championships is already scheduled, so there's no chance to have an IQ Foil Championships at the same time. However, we could find that some other title, but still to have also IQ Foil event there. So because the sailors are mostly the same. So maybe 1 week before, 1 week later, to spend 2 weeks competing in RSX and competing in IQ Foil would be nice, smooth transition from one to other. So, but this is on the way, on the table, and I know that the Gonzalo is probably coming next week here, so we can discuss it, and hopefully that we can find a good solution on that. But at the moment we are keeping the dates. We want to run this event, which might be the last event for the class, so must be a good celebration, fireworks. And all these things.
I'm sorry, it's not going to be the last.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, God. I was politically correct.
You still have to do Olympic.
No. I'm just kidding. It's a class organized event. That's what I mean. And then of course,
still need to do our Olympic Games,
and
which
then,
is a big commitment.
yeah, and then of course Olympic Games, which is organized by IOC and World Sailing for us. So yeah, we have events to run, and so it doesn't mean that the life is over and the RSX is over. It's not over, and the transition has to be smart and wise and painless to everybody. So I think it's a good plan to make transition from one class to other. If anybody has any.
Yeah, I have a question just to everybody who's listening and who is active next year for the RSX class towards Tokyo. So, how many of you non-Asians are planning to attend the World Championship in China at the end of May? I'm really curious about how many non-Asian countries will go there.
I mean, I don't think we can have any kind of proper answer here now. We can discuss it later on. I mean, on a boat park and understand, and definitely we need to.
No French, no Hungary. They're coming now.
Okay.
Easy. We can just
Okay.
look how many countries are not coming. No Estonia.
No
So
Hungary,
let's
no
see. I
French.
mean, I'm just curious because I think it's important if it's one of the last events we do.
Yeah.
Maybe we should consider. But it's not only because we also deal with this COVID situation that if it's not solved next year, and I'm not sure if they can solve it within 6 months from now or 7 months, do you think that athletes are going to travel to China, from China to Japan to prepare for the Olympic Games, from Europe or from every other continent? I'm not sure.
I can see some comments here, but coming back to somebody made at the beginning of the meeting concern that they think that there will be even no people in the Europeans here. So I don't think that Sarius is proposing another venue.
No.
Should we still have?
That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
But
we had the discussions many times, and you know my point of view about it.
Didrik,
I'm just concerned that our last the Olympic year, that we have World Championships in China and we have only Chinese competing probably. Yeah. So
Didrik, I mean let's not discuss it now. It's still AGM, and you are coaches rep. So please bring the voice of coaches to executive, and this is our call.
And Andros, I think the important thing is here that we've got to respect the Chinese, and if people aren't expecting to go, and we know that's pretty disrespectful for a country that's been planning it for over a year. And I think we have to be honest with that country. I mean, I don't think it'd be a problem getting a full entry into China. We know they can produce a world championship, which is Chinese if they want to. But we have now the regatta in Japan, a matter of days after this one. And I think there is a really strong, for the cohorts going forward, for the group going forward to the Olympic Games, it's a real pull to know what to do. And I'm being honest with you, I don't know what we'll do. But if it was a normal year, a normal championship, we'd definitely be going.
I would, Barry, if I may interrupt you, I would make the kind of practical proposal now. I think instead of deciding now, yes or no, we should decide a deadline. What you think would be fair to the organizer and fair to you to make a final decision where we should make the World Championships? This year, January, I mean, because time is short, and yeah, I mean, we need to consider all parties, also the Chinese people.
I mean, if we're being logical, and it's not a qualifier or anything,
no.
If we're being logical, and you said you had negotiations with the Japanese, and we could use the 8th to the 15th in Japan as the World Championship tag. Man, that would be so easy, so convenient, and that would work for pretty much everybody on this call.
Now
I imagine.
Copy that, Barry. I hope Alastair is still here. Alastair, if you could, or Michael, what is the deadline or time limit to have a Olympic classes championships in Olympic venues? Is there any?
Andros, I think given the challenges in 2021, we've tried to be as flexible as we possibly can with the classes. Under a normal year, we've always asked for the World Championships to have taken place before the 3rd June. but 2020 is not going to be a normal year. So, I mean, following your discussions and understanding maybe the concerns about being in China, but at the same time, the Olympic athletes for sure probably wanting to be focused on training in Japan, and us not knowing what the COVID rules are going to be and how easy it is going to be to fly around the world. I'm more than happy to talk to the Enoshima team about, and as I said, only talk about it, the possibility of the RSXs using that event as a world championship. I mean, from my point of view, it will prevent, or it will rather create some challenges, because if they're trying to run fair racing for all 10 events, we know it's a challenging venue, so it would not necessarily be organised as you would normally an RSX World Championships, but I'm happy to have the discussion. And then going back to the point about the dates, as I said, I think we simply have to be flexible in 2021 to just try and make things work.
Okay, thanks, Alistair. So I think intention is still to keep the dates more or less the same, because regard of all other events, so it's not chosen just because of this. So, but I think it's a valid discussion, and we can. I will definitely approach to the Chinese organizer, and probably I will still kind of put forward to all fleet kind of poll by through the mails, so to see. I understand your opinion now. So most of the people at the moment they don't want to do China, but to be fair to everyone, I think it's reasonable to ask everyone opinion. Any other comments?
One comment for this. I agree with Barry. We have a special year, special Olympic Games in 2021, and that's why I think we need to discuss this point, and it's really not easy to do it, because we need some people in the World Championship. The last World Championship on IQ foil, they changed for international games, because not everyone can come in and etc. And I think it's a very good idea to do it in Tokyo, there where people are staying, and it's easy for everyone. I know that China was voting before by MNAs, but it's special year, and we need to decide, I think, as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Cesarius.
And Andres, it's Alistair here. If I could just add one more quick point.
Yep.
As I said, I'm more than happy to talk to JSAF and Andres. Obviously, you're free to talk to them as well. But I think the biggest challenge for all of us is still going to be what venue is going to be open for sailors from around the world to be able to travel to. Because even though we are now planning this regatta in Enoshima in early June, it's still unclear to us who will actually freely be able to travel to Japan ahead of the event. So I think, whatever venue we're looking at, whether it's Japan, China, or somewhere else, there's still that headache of who can actually travel there.
Right. Thank you. So basically, very, very quickly, I think we have three options on the table now. One is the initial one, which is China still, and I understand this meeting now doesn't like this option. Second one is go to Japan as Olympic waters. And the third one is the third place, probably in Europe somewhere, which is easier to travel to most of us. But then again, I mean, yeah. What can I say? Definitely, we need to work on that, and the time is short once again. So I will start working immediately after this meeting. So first, I'm going to talk to Chinese. I'm going to contact also, as Alistair said, also maybe we were saying to talk to the Japanese, what options we have. And then the third option to find any other place in Europe somewhere, or any other place, and considering the possible travel restrictions or whatever. And you guys, if you have any good idea, please pass it to me. You know my contacts, so please shoot, and it will be much easier to find the best solution. Thank you.
Just one comment, I think, for Alistair as much as anything is recognising where we're at with RSX. It is only the Olympic sailors and their training partners who will want to attend. And if we can't get into Japan in June, we can't get into China. The whole world's it's the lowest risk option. It's not like, because like we're a very dissimilar situation to any other class. So that group of 50 sailors will be moving to where, to that venue. There is no conflict there. Not like we're going to open it up to a whole new generation. So it gives us, I think, an option that other classes perhaps aren't able to.
Yeah, no, Barry, understood. And I mean, Michael's listening to this as well, and he's obviously had a lot of discussions with the RSC about qualification, all the outstanding events that we're running next year. I completely get that the world's on to qualify next year, but we for sure are going to need to discuss this with JSAF. We do need to discuss it with the RSC just in terms of general dates and planning for 2021. But Barry, we'll have those discussions. We'll keep in touch with Andres. I'm sure then we'll be updating all of you.
Yes, and actually I already received the kind of bids, some plans. Some people here they want to host it. So yeah, very good. Thank you guys.
Can I make a comment that might be helpful?
Yes, please.
As I said, other people. Normally in this world there are going to be these 50 sailors that are going to be in the Olympics and their partners. So I believe if you manage to make the Worlds in Tokyo, then probably these 50 sailors will want to be there. But if you make it in China, maybe, I don't know, maybe 20%, 25% will be there. Because many people will not risk probably to travel in other places because of the situation that we are facing. So maybe this is a good thing to consider also.
Thank you.
Yes, and if I may conclude on this, I mean, it's clear that this is it's an important subject that because of the uncertainties, we have no reply today. It happened with Vilamura, because we were supposed to go to Greece in May. Our European was there. We had to cancel at the last moment, and we found a solution with Vilamura. So this will happen again with China. And not today, because we don't have the answer. It will be in the next months, so let's start looking also for other places because we have to have a backup solution. In the meantime, what it's important to say, we had a bid last year. There was a number of competitors for the Worlds, and China won. And they also put a lot of energy in this already because we've been talking to them. So we need to respect all this. It's not that we can change based on if. The if is our concern, but we are related to uncertainties. It's a very difficult situation. So I think for the purpose of our AGM for the moment, let's thanks everybody for bringing this problem and come back to us with your proposal. And Andres will be again the filter following the developments and then a decision perhaps, I don't know, we can take in February, March, we'll see. Okay, when the situation will be more clear. If everybody is in agreement, I will go ahead with next subject also.
Right. Anyway, we have some because also after we decided Vilamura, there was Tenerife. We jumped forward, said we would like to host this Europeans in Tenerife. So maybe this is also option for work. I don't think there will be problem to find another venue to host the World Championship, but. What we need, because we have a contract. I mean, we went procedure, we are voting, we signed a contract. If we are going to cancel this contract, what are the consequences on that? So it's not just easy like we are changing based on what, but that's why we were going to discuss. But also on the other hand, I understand that no organizer would be happy if we are telling that, okay, you can run this World Championship, but nobody's coming. So it also doesn't make sense. So this is something that we're going to, I'm going to talk to them, yes.
Maybe you can offer them 2022 as an action. Because they still have the Asian Games also in China, so maybe they like to have the World Championships as well. It's good for them.
Yeah. Okay. This is something to work. Yes, we will do it. Maybe let's move on, Carlo, if you...
Yeah.
And maybe last comment, Carlo, because I will be a whole week here in Vilamura, so if anybody has any good idea, we can talk about that. So I can put the executive committee next time to discuss. Thank you. Okay. Status and
topic was the severity. Yeah, please go ahead.
It's not really agenda. Initially it was, but it's not really agenda. But we discussed already. Carlo told you briefly the plans, but we need to consider. So therefore, we still have events on 2021 to run. We have still Olympic Games to run, and then maybe some regional games too. And then that's why the suggestion is that the decision will be made at the 2021 AGM. What is the status and future of the class? And I don't think any here want to make any radical change before the games are over, because we still need to have a games, and we need a structure for that. Carlo, sorry.
Yes, we decided to put this in the agenda because I think everybody's curious to know what's going to happen. So that's why this is the moment also to collect any comments, any advice, any support, because we don't know. We are the first one. We work on a day by day. We try to bring our regatta together. So we're going to do now, this week is going to do Villa Mura. At the end of the week, we will have another task. The next big point is the Olympic Games. You have to make sure that there's going to be the good equipment, good sailors, good regatta, that we are ready as a class to cooperate with IOC, with World Sailing, to make sure that nothing is going to go wrong. And this is my thing for the next 6 months. Then certainly it's difficult to say. So some of the issues have been already discussed during the AGM, because I knew they were going to come out. So I want to leave really the floor to everybody. We're all online. You're all again working on this subject. If you have any ideas or something to share about what we put here in this list, perhaps just put it back, Andrews, for a second.
Sure.
For what they're concerned, I will just be conclusive. For what they're concerned, the decision on the future, we said before, I must confirm we're going to do it in 2021 AGM. 2021 AGM will be to be confirmed. We don't know the date, but I would say around September, October of 2021, virtually probably, as for the moment, unless we have an event that we can get together. Perhaps everything will be stopped from a COVID point of view, and then we will do. But I will leave this for the moment, just for the records, that it will be virtual after the games. Then, any other comments on the event, on the Tokyo Olympic Games, the regional games, or something else that we forgot? Okay, I call this is the right moment to raise your voice and bring it to the attention of the class. Okay, Andrews, I think that if anybody has any of the issue, we are getting into our 2.5. This 2 hours and a half that we'll be in the AGM.
Yeah.
I think we did very well in terms of getting the homework done, the approval and everything. I'm very sorry not to do it live, to be in present with all of you, because it's always different. So unless there's anything else to be said, I think we can conclude this AGM, Andrews.
Yes.
Carlos?
Yes.
Please.
Because you know me, I don't like to talk. But I have a question. While we've got Alistair Heavy on the line, I did ask it on the chat. Have we got any update on the class situation with IQ4, our post conference decision?
Hi Barry, I'm not sure if Jaime's still on the call, but if he is, he's probably best placed to answer it. So Jaime, and if he's not here, answer it.
Thank you, Alistair. I am still here. Hi, thank you, everyone. So indeed, the recommendation from the equipment committee was to approve the application that was made, which has Dorian selected as chair of the class. That recommendation still needs to be put for council to ratify and to vote, and therefore we're still pending that final steps, and that hasn't happened yet. We'll be able to update the sailing community in the following weeks. But for now, publicly, there's nothing being communicated yet. That decision happened, but obviously we're going to work with, as we're working with Gonzalo, we hope to be able to, if the situation extends, still request to formally approve the right to hold a world championship. I'm sure that Alistair can just confirm that, but do to make sure that there's an assurance for all the sailors and not to keep you waiting on that side of things. But there's no formal decision being made yet. I'm sure everyone will know when it's done. Thank you.
I just want to add a comment from the class, and thank you, Jaime, thank you, Alistair, for being here and also to report on this. I think it's very important in the sailing world to show the capacity, and especially to avoid friction, and especially to avoid fights. I think when I heard the story of the two classes, I went back to 2012 when windsurfing was kicked out from the Olympic Games because of the mess of the kite, the board, the famous vote in Stresa, which ended into a litigation. So I take this opportunity to remind everybody that one of the elements that makes things work, and I've been a witness with the RSX class during this year, thanks to all of you, is the harmony. We need to show that we are in a position to solve the problem quickly and fast and in an amicable way, because otherwise we're not people of sport. We don't think in the right way. There are always too many interests behind, and we have to keep them away. So my comments to this situation is that please find a solution fast and quickly and in harmony. We are all friends, we all know each other in this world, and I'm sure this is possible, because otherwise this has already given a bad impression of what is going to happen for the future. And I'm sorry, as a president of a class, that instead in 2009 we had a great success in terms of visibility and everything was doing very well. We have an asset to protect, and I don't want to waste all this. So please, whoever is working on this subject, find a quick solution and make things happening, not friction. Thank you. This is my comment.
I have one comment, because we have also people from World Sailing, and that's why I want to ask, because I don't understand why the World Sailing talked to a group of people and not to a group who was voting from the national, like AGM or something. And for me, okay, we can be friends to each other, but I don't understand why they prepare a group of people who can be elected, and they are not elected from our, like, not federation, but for the class. I don't understand why World Sailing do it.
Cesarius, I mean, if Alistair want to comment, but actually, technically, it's first of all, it's IQ foil issue. Secondly, I can tell you, Gonzalo Costa is coming here next week, who can share, and it was not really the World Sailing call to decide. I mean, they need to choose, and it's based on the what is the proper class, because my comment is to that the election which has been done, it was absolutely not valid elections, because they elected the president and board for an association which does not exist. It doesn't exist. How can you have a president and a board for something which doesn't exist? So therefore, but this is IQ foil problem, not the RSX class one. So
yes, in fact,
yeah.
I don't think we need to get into the merit of the discussion.
Yeah.
Those who were sailing, so they will take care of deciding.
But
so.
But once again, I mean, Gonzalo Costa, Hövel, he's coming here next week to visit our event. So if any questions to him, you are more than welcome, and you can discuss it. And I can also explain whatever I know. So, but this is not part of this AGM, I believe. Okay.
Can I just say one more? Can I just thank the executive for staying on for another year to support the class through the extra year. So thank you very much. I'd like to say on behalf of Great Britain and all the executive at the time, and we're going to do it again for another, well, 10 to 12 months at least. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry.
Well,
that was.
Thank you, Barry, and to all of you for the trust.
Okay, then if
Thank you, Magnus.
nothing else, then I will once again.
I don't know if there's any other comments, guys. I think we did well. It works well, this virtual at the end. We were able to do the AGM. I want to take the opportunity to first of all welcome everybody a good week next week of true European level regatta. So really, again, most of you know me now. I said this many times. The key word in all things also, it's fun. Have fun. Enjoy yourself in all your different capacity and position, and have a great regatta. At the same time, we are facing a terrible period with the risk, and be safe then. My wish to everybody, be safe, control yourself, and talk to you all in person when and if will be possible, but as soon as possible. So unless anybody else has to do it, I'm finished for the moment. And Andres, you perhaps can give the last words.
No, yeah, I mean, once again, thank you guys. I mean, and I think it's a teamwork anyway. I know it's a nice words and people like to say it, but I really mean it. I mean, we've always been quite close and sharing our ideas and the problems and trying to find solutions. That's most important, because as we used to say, that many of you used to say that bring a solution, don't bring the problems. So that's why I also really appreciate this cooperation, and looking forward. The game is not over yet. It's we need to finish properly and nicely. And also Carlos said that, and the last thing what we want is that if we have any problems transmitting to the new class, so we really want to make it smoothly, because the most of the sailors we are still the same. So let's work it smoothly. Then we will look better also to the world, because we need to look better to the world, because competition is hard. I mean, based on different Olympic classes, and everybody wants to be the best. And doesn't matter what equipment is, or windsurfing is the RSX, is the IQ foil. We need to look better, and that's important. And I think we are attractive, and let's keep it. Let's not destroy it. So thank you, and all the thanks what you're giving to us. Really appreciate, and behalf of my team and our team executive also big thanks. And I'm here next week. So anybody wants to talk, I'm available. With a mask, of course. Thank you.
So thank you. Then we can consider close the meeting
and maybe
again.
Carlo, the last one, once again, thank you, Alastair, thank you, Michael, thank you, Jaime, World Sailing, attending. Thank you. It's really helpful.
Thanks, Andres.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon, all of you.
Okay.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Take care.